The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date is February 26, 2021. And just to give you a heads up, I titled all of the live episodes with the bad news, but 15 minutes ago, Tony's agent texted me and gave me a rather ominous, if you will, cancellation. Said there was an ER situation. That's all I know. But so we hope everything's okay with Tony. That's all I know. But so he will not be with us tonight. We personally, CC and myself, we are probably more disappointed than any of you. I've never got to speak to the man. I was excited to do the show. I spent all week watching his movies, as anybody who follows me on Facebook would know. But the show will go on. The show will go on because I have 3 announcements. I have 3 names to drop tonight, so there was no way that I was going to let this stuff slide. Hey, Cece.
Hi, Wes. Hi, everybody. How are you?
And once again, everybody, you notice she dressed for the occasion. She dressed for the occasion when it's just me and it. But see, I've got her cornered this time because I get to enjoy the pleather. And instead of the
pleather.
Okay, so anyway, so Cece's here in her Big Mac dress. And so we're I don't know. Jake's asking if we'll do call-ins. I don't know. I have to find the damn phone number. Of course, Jake's got it probably on speed dial. But so what we're going to talk about tonight, other than, of course, the guest announcements that we got coming up, we're actually going to speak about some of Tony's movies that, and we're probably going to argue about Sky Sharks. Because that is one that we do not see eye to eye on. I found it quite enjoyable. She was not quite as impressed, but anyway, so that's we're just gonna wing it. It's not the first time we've had to do it, so we're gonna do it again.
We're gonna wing it, and that's not just a reference to Sky Sharks.
And CC's audio just went out of sync. I thought I had that fixed. Oh well, it'll catch back up. There, now it's caught back up. Before she threw her fit, I had something I was going to say. It was very important. Anyway,
It's all that leather, is it?
Yeah, she's got me thrown.
Messing with you.
She's got me thrown with the leather. Anita's already asked her to wear it to Scarefest. So there, tickets are on sale, just like it says at the top of the screen. Tickets are on sale now to see Cece in her leather dress. Hey, that is a good question. Have you given any thought to what you'll be cosplaying this year?
Oh, myself? I don't know. There are just so many options, and I just don't know where to go with that. You know, what about you? I'm sure you are going to be having some personas who are going to be showing up.
I'm going to try to do one day of the tomb attendant. I have to run around so much. What I'd really like to do Friday is I'd love to rent a tuxedo. We'll see if that's in the Scarefest budget, so that when we do the black carpet, you know. But beyond that, Jake Godiva votes for Lady Godiva. I don't look good as Lady Godiva, Jake. I mean, I've got the wig now, but
you look great in the long wig.
Yeah, I'll probably do.
I'll come as the horse.
But I probably will do tomb attendant just because I like the look. as long as somebody will show up to do the skull face for me, makeup, because my first outing at that kind of sucked ass. If I didn't have a mask to wear over it, it was pretty bad. And it was worse after I wore the mask, of course. And to the chat room, we probably have. CC, have you seen Death House?
I have not seen Death House, but I just saw Jake just made a reference to it. So if Jake has seen it, it must be something amazing, even though he's not referring to it that way.
You will never have a movie with more parts that should have made it an awesome movie, and just at the end of it, you're like, what the fuck was that? And that was actually on my list of questions, though. I was going to ask Tony what the hell his part meant. He has a part that shows up at the beginning and the end, adds literally nothing to the movie, even with Tony's commanding presence. And I just wanted to know if it had some deeper meaning that would have been revealed in one of the sequels if they'd ever done them. So, okay, we've wasted 8 minutes. Totally unprepared. How many of his movies did you get to watch?
Tony Todd's movies?
Yes.
Well, you know what? When Candyman first came out, that was like a huge horror film for me. So I went back and had to watch all the Candyman movies. I was 16 when the first Candyman movie came out. So for me, it was actually quite frightening. And I remember the first couple of times I watched it, I couldn't even watch the whole thing because, in many parts I was, watching it like this or had the blanket up and stuff like that. I found Candyman to be a very scary movie when that came out.
I don't even. It's one of those. I remember watching it, but I tell you, I think I watched it on VHS. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but so I rewatched it, but I didn't rewatch it for this episode because it was like a year ago that I watched it.
Yeah. But
I did go through and watch. I had not seen the other two.
Mm-hmm.
So I did watch them this week. And
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be as harsh on them as I have seen some of the reviews. I thought Part 2 was a worthy sequel to Part 1. I
like Part 2 as well.
I thought Part 3 took Part 1 and Part 2 and put it in a blender and just mixed it all up and made a movie out of it. In other words, it had part of the legend, if you will. In other words, they took parts of Part 1 and parts of Part 2 and tried to make Part 3 out of it. Now, oddly enough, from what I've gathered about the new Candyman movie, although somebody said that it had nothing to do with them, actually it does. Because, in the original, you had What's-Her-Face. It was basically the reincarnation of his dead love.
Virginia Madsen.
Yes. Then Part 2, you're dealing with a descendant. Great-granddaughter,
yeah.
A descendant. And Part 3 is actually, although I don't think they use the same actress, but see, that's continuing that. That little girl at the end of Part 2 is the big girl with the hooties in Part 3.
Which, Part 1, the first one and the second one, fantastic. But when you get to the third one and you got to throw a Playboy Playmate in there, and her only, credit to her name is running down the beach in a bathing suit.
Well, the main thing, it didn't add anything to the story. It just came up with a different way to try to kill him off. That's the only thing it added. And also, by the time Part 3 rolled around, when people would say Candyman 5 times into the mirror, you're like, you shouldn't do that. Because everybody goes, oh, I'll say it. And then they say it. And then all hell breaks loose. Predictable is what I'm kind of saying there.
And I was dying to ask Tony Todd tonight, have you ever said your own name in the mirror 5 times? And then I realized everybody who has ever interviewed him asks him that.
I was going to ask him a similar question, because he's going to reschedule, so I probably ought to save it. But I just wanted to ask him if he was superstitious in any way. In other words, that's a movie thing. But now, personally, Okay, now I'm this alleged big ghost hunter light worker dude, and I will not do the challenges like where you say the Bloody Mary, 3 or 5 times in. I won't do it, it's not. I know nothing will happen. I know it's an urban legend, but why tempt fate? So,
agreed.
And we'll just call it respect for the after. Because now if you want to get into the paranormal side of it, I believe in the tourist ghost phenomenon that I've talked about. And what if some ghost happens to be wandering by and go, oh, I know what he's doing. I think I'll become Bloody Mary tonight and fuck with him. So there's 2 F-bombs for this episode. There's no way they'll show ads on us now. I don't want to get... Now, another one of his, people in the chat room, have you seen it? From Jennifer. It is a micro-budget movie. And it was tough. Now, he didn't have a huge part in it. He played a talent agent. But the premise behind it is there's this girl, and she's an actress, and she got knocked out of one role by one of her friends, and then and it's because her boyfriend posted what they call commonly revenge porn. In other words, he had a dirty video of her and posted it online, and everybody found out about it. And in a blatant show of hypocrisy, threw her off the movie, and then she couldn't get work. But anyway, so she goes on this. She's decided she's going to get revenge. And, oh gosh, what's his name? Big bald-headed guy. Ugh.
Oh, because there's only one of those out there. The Rock.
No, okay, think horror movies. I get my IMDb pulled up here. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody will yell it in the chat room before I find it. See, part of my problem with Tony is he has over 200 IMDb listings. And when you go to look, it took me an hour to find The Flash, where he played Zoom. What? From Jennifer. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to get this character's name. Derek Mears! Told you somebody would yell it out in the chat room first. Mears. I didn't know that guy could act as good as he can, because he always plays these super creepy roles, but in this one he's just odd. And he nails it. I mean, he's great in it.
Go, Eric.
But yeah, that of course that was Eric Morrison, one of our resident film geeks, who knew that answer before I could find it. But anyway, everybody, if you want to do a quick Prime, if you got Amazon Prime and you can watch that movie, it's worth probably 90 minutes of your life. When you start watching, you think, oh my God, this is a cheap piece of crap. No, they spent the money where it needed to be spent, and it looks like, and it was filmed on, I guess it was filmed on an iPhone. I have no idea, but anyway, it's definitely a good movie from Jennifer. Hey, we can do our first commercial break. We've made it into 15 minutes into our show. Everybody, if you're just tuning in, Tony Todd could not be with us tonight. He had an emergency right at showtime. I've got the text here to prove it from his agent. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Horror. Movies. Fans. For life. On Facebook, find us. For watch parties. For news. For memes. For friends. For life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil. Most of us know that CBD is a cannabis compound that has significant medical benefits, but does not make people high. Its benefits include pain relief, anti-seizure properties, anxiety relief, fights cancer, reduces the risk of diabetes, and it is even used as a sleep aid. Blue Leaf Naturals CBD and hemp products are full-spectrum hemp extract oils. They use only hemp grown in Kentucky, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses and helping you and your family stay healthy and well. Blue Leaf Naturals, created with care from seed to shelf. Visit their website at blueleafnaturals.com. Blue Leaf Naturals, a Kentucky proud company.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest TV. If you came in during the commercial break, yeah, Tony can't be here tonight. So we're talking about him behind his back, basically, is the theme of the show. Mostly praising him. Of course, I was asking Cece what she's want, because I've got my list here. In the chat room, tell us your favorite Tony Todd role other than Candyman, because that's too easy. It's too easy to pick the one they're known for. You mentioned the which one was it? Which one of the Living Deads was it?
Night of the Living Dead.
It was Night of the Living Dead. That was
1990.
That was his first starring role. I know that from research.
Which was interesting because I read an interview with him and he pretty much begged to go in and play the role that he played in Night of the Living Dead. And then his next film was coming up after that, for Candyman. They approached him and they were like, please come be our Candyman. So it was amazing to read that role reversal.
You're right, absolutely right. I cannot think of anybody in that time frame. He's a commanding presence. That's just the way I would put it.
He is.
And so yeah, he's perfect for that role. Now there is some question about whether he gets a true screen time in the new remake. He's got credit. He's playing the part, but with the whole family conglomeration, except for a reflection in the mirror somebody caught in the preview. There is a question whether or not, of course, because when they go back and replay the legend one more damn time, so that people haven't seen the first 3 movies will know what's going on. He's not the spring chicken he was back then. Of course, hey, if they can make Kurt Russell look young for Guardians of the Galaxy, they could have done it.
They did. Let's see. I've got Jake in the chat room saying Grange from The Crow. Love The Crow.
I love The Crow, but now, honestly, I don't remember the character. It's been a long time since I've watched it. And apparently every now and then they see your hand coming in sideways.
Who, Anita's?
Yeah, that's my producer. That's my producer who I tried to clip my camera, but she just keeps scooting closer. Now, I should have. I got to find out how close if him and Sean Whalen are buddies, because Tony got to play a couple westerns. I watched one of them, West of Hell. That movie, also independent film, but it was good. It wasn't great. He didn't create an iconic character in that one, but now the one I did want to talk to him about, and once again, because it was an ensemble cast, Man from Earth. Has anybody Oh, they're talking about the big hand behind my head. I thought it was Anita's big hand. Anyway, The Man from Earth. Has anybody in the chat room seen The Man from Earth? Now, it's not a horror movie per se. It is more of a sci-fi thriller. I don't even know. I need to look at it and see what IMDb calls it. Now, okay, here's the concept. This guy has been alive for his best guess 14,000 years.
Wow.
Still looks...
And this is Tony Todd?
No. Tony's one of the people that he tells this to that... And just say, okay, let's say you walk into a room and you tell people that you're 14,000. And it's the reactions they have, you know, oh, you're full of shit. And then they start quizzing him on stuff, and he's got all the answers. And so, you know, they start kind of, you know, hedging their bets a little bit. It's a really, really, really interesting movie. It gets a little controversial at the end to some people, I'm sure, but I could accept that controversy because it was that good. Now, Sky Sharks.
I was going to say, when are we going to talk about Sky Sharks?
Now, of course, I watched Sky Sharks for two reasons. First of all, Jan Birch has been on the show twice bragging to me about that movie and how it was ready to come out. And it came out in 2020. And of course, it's like the third newest thing on Tony's IMDb. So I said, oh, great. That'll give me an excuse to rent Sky Sharks. What was your opinion of Sky Sharks?
Mine? So I'll tell you, I had already watched the first half of Sky Sharks before you made your post and said you have to stay and watch for the credits. So I went back to Sky Sharks and finished watching it. And yes, there were some very interesting things at the end. But what is my opinion of Sky Sharks? I think that that's a movie that you have to watch with some friends after you've had some drinks and maybe have on some 3D glasses. And I think that would make it the most amazing movie that it probably should be. But because I didn't have those things, I wasn't quite as impressed as I probably should have been. However, I was very, very... my favorite movie quote from Sky Sharks was when Tony Todd said, "We want to see them drop to the ground like hookers' panties at Mardi Gras."
Yes, I remember that line well.
Classic.
What can I say about it? Everybody can want to. It's worth to me. Okay, if you're apparently what we're gathering from this conversation, if you're a dude, it's worth the watch. If you're female, you might not like it. Okay, now it started off with a lot of boobage.
Started off with a lot of boobs. It started with a lot of boobs. In the middle, it had a lot of boobs. And at
I don't remember
end,
the middle
after
boobs.
The credits, it had even more boobs.
I don't remember the middle boobs.
Oh, yes. At the beginning, it started with the girl.
Oh, yeah. We're not arguing about the beginning. Yeah, within first 20 seconds, there was boobs. Yeah,
there's boobs.
Yeah.
Then, the first zombie Nazis come on, and the zombie girls even like, look at my cleavage. And then in the middle, you've got the there was more boobs in there, I swear. There was the girl, she was in the Mile High Club. And
yes, okay, I forgot about the Mile High.
She's then running down the aisle of the airplane like, ah! And that lasted a couple of scenes. So, I mean.
Okay, I did forget about the Mile High Club. Granted, I forgot about, and that was gratuitous. Yes. Now I will say that was gratuitous, added absolutely nothing to the plot of the movie. The original boobs in it, arguably, they were there for shock value because, okay, everybody, just spoiler alert. The reason they show them is because, okay, this lady's friend or sister or whatever the hell she was at the Antarctic.
They were sisters.
Okay. The Antarctic station and had a helmet came on. Well,
Yes.
Guess what happens when you have sex and don't take off your helmet cam, and everybody apparently with the internet connection can tune in and watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And did anybody else happen to notice that it was like snowing on them while they were naked and having sex? Which
I did not notice that, but I thought they were indoors. They must have left the door open.
they were indoors, right? But it was still like snowing on them.
Well, I'm saying,
I don't know.
Door. Somebody left a window open.
I don't know. It was an old ship. I'm sure there were holes, lots of holes they were plugging, you know?
Now, I will say, though, and okay, now I'm going to go back here, because I got to get the cast from it, because I want to get her name. Come on, load, there it is. Okay, Sky Sharks. Because I've seen her in something else, but I looked at her IMDb, and I did not remember. But anyway, the actress's name... And I'm thinking of
is dun dun dun.
I got this.
While you're looking that up, let's talk about the end. I mean, there were more boobs towards the end, and then if you stayed for the actual credits, then there were like statues with boobs, and then at the end there was the Sky Frogs, which started with an astronaut going out into space who always liked to be topless, and then she lands on this planet and apparently can make tools and hunt, but cannot find any clothing.
Well, they didn't give her considering she was one of the top 3 people in the movie. Now I've got to, and on the computer, all the pictures are really small. Anyway, the brunette that was throughout the movie, I was sure we were going to see hers, and we never did.
The brunette, are we talking about the sister with the long brown hair?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, we did not.
I think it was Barbara. I should not have tried. Barbara Nedeljakova. Barbara Nedeljakova.
But we did see practically everyone. We did not see Darcy's breast from Married with Children, which I'm kind of glad about.
Now, okay, now everybody here. Now this is where, of course, you all know that. Okay, to give you a little background information, Jan Birch, friend of the show, and as far as famous people go, we're he knows me by name. I'll put it that way. But he busted my chops because when we announced him for Scarefest, 9. Somebody can tell me in chat room what the last year he came, 9 or 10. I was unfamiliar with him, and when I pulled up his IMDb, of course, in the People Under the Stairs, he played the Stairmaster. And not being familiar with the part, because I don't know why he was the Stairmaster. There should have been another. But anyway, so I made the reference to Stairmasters, the exercise equipment. And it
which is what I was thinking of when you said.
Well, okay. But anyway, so he actually contacted someone from Scarefest. What's he talking about? And because he didn't know what a Stairmaster was. And so anyway, that was our little joke that I was shocked that night to find out that famous people actually watch my show. Now, move forward, interviewed him a couple times, had a great time with him. He was telling me to watch Sky Sharks. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy's, German. It's about German zombies. He'll if not have a big role in it, he'll at least play a German. No, everybody, he plays the British Prime Minister, and Darcy plays the German Chancellor. God Loved the Woman's Heart. She was great in Married with Children. That was the worst German damn accent, and it was purposely bad, so it was enjoyable. It was funny because you could tell it was over the top, and. But so yeah, I have nothing against her playing that part, but Jan should have played something from Germany. That's my opinion on that. Time for commercial break. We've done another 15, and when we come back, we're going to give you 3 celebrity announcements for 2021 Scarefest 13 Resurrection. We'll be right back.
TellMeTarot.com. Rare tarot and oracle decks for the discerning enthusiast or collector. Odd decks are not for everyone. If you are a rare deck collector, art collector, or simply fall in love with a deck, then we might be for you. Right now, get 10% off your first order just for subscribing to their newsletter. Shipping is just $5.99 in the United States. TellMeTarot.com.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
Hey Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis, Bonehead Weekly, with another review. This week we're going to talk about a movie that is barely, it's more of a comedy than a horror film. In fact, I almost didn't do a review of it, but I watched it. The other two Boneheads on Bonehead Weekly really enjoyed this movie. It didn't quite do it for me. It's called Get Duked. Now, what is Get Duked about? It takes place in the Highlands of Scotland, and these three miscreants, these three troublemakers, are sent on this quest, if you will, to go from one place to the other. And the reason it's called Get Duked is because they have to start at one point and end up towards the sea, somewhere in the Highlands of Scotland. It doesn't really matter. This thing was started by the Duke of Edinburgh, Queen Elizabeth's husband. And one other kid goes along with him who's trying to pad his CV, his resume in America. And he's wanting to do this in accomplishment. But these other three are hoodlums. And what happens is the teacher brings them there, drops them off, and they are starting to get attacked by what looks like the Duke of Edinburgh. Get duped. Makes sense? There is some comedy. It has a couple of great character actors in it. One of them is Katie Price, or Katie Dickey. And the other one is James Cosmo. You would know them both from Game of Thrones if you're a Game of Thrones fan. Kate Dickey, I said Katie Dickey. Kate Dickey is in one of my favorite horror films that's come out in the last few years, The Witch. Highly recommend The Witch over this. And Eddie Izzard, one of the best comic geniuses of our time, plays the Duke. He's got a mask on. It's hard to see him. There's several criticisms I could throw with this film. There's a couple of cops who are inept. They're trying to find these kids. They've been tasked with finding someone who's robbing bread, and they get caught up in this. These kids also run into these farmers who are crazy and on drugs and like to party, which isn't a bad thing. They end up partying with them. Overall, though, it's kind of a jumbled mess. IMDb gives it a 6.2. It's directed by a guy named Ninian Doff, and who was known for like My Chemical Brothers videos and mostly music videos and commercials. And it's fun. It's visually fun. The four boys are okay, but they just miss out on what I would assume is a lot of humor. There's a lot of things like, why wouldn't they did that? Why didn't they just get in the van, drive it back to someplace? Those kinds of things, those horror tropes that just drive you crazy. There's a few of them. Now, there is a bit with the van that pays off towards the end of the movie. I'll give them that. I was really pissed, and then I was like, oh, okay, I get the joke now. But is it worth your time and effort, Get Duked? Not really. The trailer is so much better than the movie. But it could be that I was in a bad mood. Could be other things. Like I said, the other two boneheads really enjoyed this movie. I'm the only one that was off put by it and thought it wasn't much of a film to begin with. However, if you get a chance, it's on Amazon, and you think this all sounds funny and you're a big Eddie Izzard fan, check out Get Duked. I have a hard time recommending it. Like I said, they just didn't take advantage of some of the great character actors that they had in there, much less that there's about 2 or 3 laughs in it. There's not enough blood for some of you to go out and do it. So for the most part, skip Get Duked unless you're a huge Eddie Izzard fan. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. Once again, our scheduled guest tonight, Mr. Tony Todd, could not be with us. So we spent the last half hour talking behind his back about his movies. But right now, we're going to do announcements for Scarefest 13 Resurrection. Our first celebrity announcement of the evening. Wow, chicka, wow. Tiffany Shepis. Tiffany Shepis, who was one of my favorite all-time guests on the show, and I cannot wait to have her back on. And for any number of reasons. But anyway, Tiffany Shepis, B-movie scream queen of our generation. That is, actually, Blake Quigley's my generation. One generation behind me. Whatever, however you want to look at it. Tiffany Shepis, top-notch scream queen. She will be doing, we have not released the ticket sales yet, but she has signed up to do Scream Queen Bowling at Scarefest 13. Next up, we're announcing one that's, his name has popped up quite a bit, especially lately in the group. Robert Mukes. Robert Mukes, House of 1,000 Corpses. He is coming back to Scarefest this year. Boy, he's the one that sets up that big elaborate booth, isn't he? Mm-hmm. So Robert Mukes, all you people that in other words, you can shut up now. We're having Robert Mukes. I've seen his name pop up a dozen times in the last 2 weeks. And making his starring debut at Scarefest 13, our local boy Dunwell, Jimothy Beckholt, who was in Candy Corn with Tony Todd. Woo! Will be last year was 2020 was going to be his first appearance as a celebrity at Scarefest. He's been entertainment. Well, we're giving him another shot. Jimothy Beckholt. Now, after tonight's show, the after party, and I've spoke to Holly, and unless she has a 15-minute before the show emergency, she will be doing her psychic reading for our Patreons at patreon.com/ScarefestRadio. If you'd like to come in and get a psychic reading, this will be her first ever Zoom gallery. She's done real world stuff. She's done psychic readings over the internet, but she's never done an actual gallery over the internet. So she's going to give that a shot. We are the premiere. Next week on the show, Suzanne McComas is coming on, and we are talking conspiracy theories. We're not your normal conspiracy theories. We're digging deep for the bullshit. So anyway, she's got 3 or 4 of them we're gonna talk about and make fun of. Apparently they're fairly over the top. I think I got a text somewhere where I told her I might do a little research. Anyway, and of course, all this leads up to tickets are on sale. Tickets for thescarefest.com are on sale. So go to thescarefest.com, click the ticket link, and go ahead and get it. Now, this next one, people's been axing. Get it? People's been axing. Throw axes with our serial killers. We've already got 4 of them signed up. The way this works, people, when you show up that night, there'll be a draw. Okay? You can end up on any of our celebrity teams. The teams will max out at 9 people. Of course, we'll do math. We know how to do that. Once we sell out of the enough tickets we'll add a celebrity here and there. We can have up to 9 celebrities, is my understanding. We did look, there were like 6 or 7 people that bought this is how people who bought tickets for this last year when we had to cancel, every one of them held on to their ticket. So I look for this to sell out. Because, I mean, we literally put this on sale and then ended up putting everything on. And that's when COVID hit. So anyway, tickets are on sale for that. You can go ahead and reserve your spot because now this is one we can't hedge. We will have spectator tickets eventually available. But if you want to be on the team with any of our celebrities, and by the way, Steve Nappy is the reigning champion. He kicked RA's and Kane's butt last year. The last year we did it.
Will the ceilings be tall enough for Robert?
I think it's an old warehouse. Okay. I think they can accommodate him. Anyway, go on to the next one. Speaker applications. Speaker applications are online. So please, if you would like to speak at Scarefest, we take paranormal, horror, cryptid. We take any topic that's weird, unusual, scary. What serial killers? If you talk about serial killers, you're probably automatically like approved because the people that in the speaker department have what I like to call a virtual erection. That's what we'll use. That's the term we'll use tonight. But anyway, for serial killers. Now, and finally, just to promote myself, Scarefest gift shop at scarefestradio.com. Hey, we got COVID masks that say Scarefest on them. We have COVID masks that say Scarefest on them. Do we still have a few that said Scarefest Radio?
No.
No, those were gone. So anyway, go to scarefestradio.com, click the gift shop link, and suit up. And we're back. Now we can talk about a little bit about. Of course, Cece wants to hear all about the parties. Okay. I just want to put in, everybody go on online, watch Candy Corn. Tony didn't have a real huge part in it. It was one of those, as I like to call with my celebrities, they wanted to use his name or something. I don't know, because but anyway, he is in it. He has actual lines. He doesn't get killed. Most of the celebrities like that end up getting killed, but no, he's on there. But Jimothy Beckholtz. Big jump to stardom. Wish him all the luck in the world. And so there.
I got to meet him when I was at Scarefest in 2019.
If he's there, he's actually hard not to meet.
Yeah. He was there. He was walking through. There was some drinks going on. Everybody was meeting everybody. It was great.
He actually says, despite having a table, that he's going to be doing some cosplay also this year. So of course that's what everybody at Scarefest knows him for. Now I'll try to, if you have any questions in the chat room, throw them out. We'll talk a little bit now about what all's going on at Scarefest. Of course, the axe throwing. Now this year we've taken a lot of the pre-Scarefest stuff that used to happen on Thursday night. We've shoved everything into Friday and Saturday. FYI, we'll have a get together bar hop. I think they're good. I forget if they had karaoke. I think they do on Thursday. In other words, we'll have some open
karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke was misspelled. I don't know why everybody insists that we call it karaoke, but anyway. Now this will be a fun night because if you can get into town Thursday, we're going to be doing this at Lex Live. So you can also go bowling. You can catch a horror movie. As a matter of fact, we may start the film festival that night. I'm not sure. So there's an arcade. They have an awesome arcade. Let's see, bowling, arcade, 2.5 bars. Because the one upstairs is small, but it's still they got liquor.
Wait, 2.5.
Yeah.
So they got one full bar, and then you can only get half drinks at the other one.
No, it's full drinks, but it's not as fancy. Well, yeah, that's 3 bars, but one of them doesn't have as many chairs. And we know at Scarefest how important chairs are. So anyway, then Friday night is when we're doing the events. In other words, the ticketed events. We'll be doing the axe throwing, which we've already done a test run on it. We had it 2 years ago. It went well, but we didn't sell out because we had it on Thursday night. This year we've moved it right into the middle of everything, so we should sell plenty of tickets to that. So if you're dead set on wanting to do it, I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and get your ticket. Otherwise, you might just have to be a spectator.
And that's from like what time to what time?
I think it starts at 8. Yes, it starts at 8 because it will start an hour before the convention ends. I remember that. And it should last about 2 hours. Also that night,
okay,
at the same time, Scream Queen Bolorama. Now, we called it that because now we haven't confirmed with her agent. We still got to knock it down. But Linnea Quigley, I did it on the show. Everybody, I got witnesses. I got hundreds and hundreds of witnesses that Linnea Quigley said she would go bowling for a celebrity event. And then Tiffany Shepis and Felissa Rose have already said, well, we'll do it. So we've got 3 Scream Queens. We can easily add one more without having to, because they have 4 VIP lanes that are boxed off.
That's 6 boobs. 6 boobs.
Yes. And hoping for 8. The point being, you will be on a bowling team with one of these lovely ladies. We'll draw. We'll do it just like that way. You don't get to pick your team. You go in, you'll draw, but you'll be in a as intimate of an area as you can be in a bowling alley. The way the Lex Live bowling alley is laid out, well, I should maybe intimate's the wrong word, but that's what they told me to use for axe throwing.
Just make sure you wear sexy socks.
Yeah, well, actually, make sure you wear socks, period, because they will charge you if you don't. They actually will sell you a pair of socks. We're going to include shoes in the rental. Socks are extra. The bowling alley, it's neat the way they laid it out. It's got probably 10 lanes and then a divider wall and then 4 more lanes for VIP. So we've got that section reserved for the Scream Queen bowling. And now I didn't call it, Nicole Griffith wanted me to go ahead and call it Slime Ball Bolorama. And I said, no, then we're in copyright issues. We can call it, even though she's there and we could probably get by with it, we're going to call it Scream Queen Bowling because if it catches on, she may not be back to do it, so we'll stay away from all that. But we will call it the Scream Queen Bolorama. And now this is open to dudes, of course. As far, matter of fact, I'd say one of the dude celebrities wanted to do it. If it, it's a new world
and this
we live
is
in.
at the same time as the axe
I
throwing?
believe it will overlap exactly. Don't.
So you're gonna have all the girls go throw axes with the hot guys, and all the guys are gonna go throw the balls with the hot chicks.
Throw what? Did you just say balls?
Bowling.
Oh.
Bowling?
Oh, I get it. Okay, I was thinking about it differently. Anyway, you don't throw bowling balls. You roll them.
If you see me bowl, I throw bowling balls.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the plan. Because we've only got so much time to fit this stuff in, we're probably going to, I believe those 2 events will run at the same time. So if you're wanting to go bowling with Felissa Rose, more so than Kane Hodder, then you might want to hold off buying the ticket. But that's the only reason.
It's not going to be a whole lot of. Sounds like you got to get your tickets because this will probably sell out.
Oh, Scream Queen Bowling will sell out. I have no doubt because the only thing we could do a second session, but the first session. It depends on how quick they sell out, of course. But what we're looking at, I think the computer will only score like 8 people tops. Someone knows more about bowling. Yeah. I went online and Googled how many people are on a bowling team. Every entry had a different number. 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, but I knew we had more than that on the last bowling league that I've was on, which was like 100 years ago. But I do think that it's really up to what the scoring thing was. Now, when I was in high school and we did it on paper, it didn't really fucking matter because you could just add somebody on it. But now that everything's computerized, I think the limit might be 8.
Well, are they still having like opening to Scarefest, mixer like they did before?
Well, that's why. Okay, now Thursday night we're going to have a mixer, yes, and it will be at Lex Live. We've not talked about that because it's basically just be a DJ or somebody, or but with 2.5 bars.
Last time you had those guys that were playing and they were like gore.
We're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. We have. If I have any input into it at all, we will not have a super loud rock band playing in a room the size of my studio. We'll probably. I don't think we've even talked about having a DJ, other than what it would take to do karaoke. So there.
Love it. Love the idea of this karaoke.
Yeah, we're putting our emphasis more on the people this year. So, a lot of people couldn't come Thursday night. I mean, most of the people there that Thursday night were college kids that probably didn't even come to Scarefest. So we're not going to put a lot of energy into that night as far as that. But with that place, we don't have to. There's plenty to do. Then we've talked a little bit.
So we talked about Thursday night. We've talked about Friday night. What's going on
Okay,
Saturday?
Now, this is what's going to throw people. The costume ball, as you know it, is no more.
Oh.
The new costume ball is going to be the event of the Lexington Halloween season. We are teaming up with Lex Live to put on a Halloween party Saturday night. Your Scarefest ticket will not automatically get you in. VIP tickets will get you in. Day pass will not get you in. It's a separate ticketed event, but VIPs, gold ticket holders, or platinum from the holdover year, will get you admission to the party. But we are going to have DJ Trey, I understand, is going to be playing. We're going. The horror drag show will be going on. We'll have burlesque at some point during the night. In other words, we got one set of things going on in one bar, a different set of things going on in the other bar. We will have movies showing that night, and probably not film festival movies, actual horror movies starring some of the people that are going to Scarefest. Those are we're working that out. Cosplay bowling. Now, there will be a costume contest, too. I'll come back to that. Cosplay bowling. I don't know why we're calling it cosplay bowling unless we just think people will bowl more because they're wearing cosplay. But we are calling it cosplay bowling. So, basically, because it's a Halloween party and we're wanting people to wear costumes, we want you to know you'll be welcome to go bowling that night. The costume contest. We're still working out exactly how we're going to do it. We may actually run 2 different contests. There'll be pre-judging, at least, at Scarefest. I think we're leaning towards doing it on Facebook. So, in other words, everybody would register, we'll post that picture, and then however many likes it gets or whatever. The finalist then will go get a free admission to the big Saturday night party, and that's where the final judging will be.
Excellent. Now, your little girlfriends that dress up in the body paint with the horns. So if you come just in paint, does that still count as a costume?
Does in my book. I don't know. I've been watching all these Comic-Con things, and yeah, I mean, it's paint is a costume.
And if you're just wearing body paint, should you bowl?
As long as you're wearing socks. That's the only answer I can give you. Oh, it's time for commercial. My producer is poking at her watch. We still got a commercial break we haven't played. Be right back.
Come visit the Universal Energy Expo, May 1st and 2nd at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center. Meet special guests Shaman Coyote Chris Sutton and Psychic Southern Gypsies. Over 100 readers, healers, and vendors. Admission also includes door prizes, workshops, and all seminars. The Universal Energy Expo. Come curious, leave enlightened.
Mama Ruby offers fun vendor-based events that focus primarily on the metaphysical and spiritual aspects of our lives. Well, 2020 didn't go as planned, to say the least. Since Mama Ruby's can't bring the vendors to you in person, they still encourage you to support them online. For links to these and other outstanding artists, craftspeople, vendors, and psychics, visit mamarubies.com and click shop.
And welcome back, everybody. We got just a minute or two left. We just wanted to close out the show. We're very, very sorry that Tony could not be with us tonight. We will get him rescheduled just as soon as absolutely possible so that I get to see Cece in another nice outfit versus the football jersey that she'll wear if I bring her on just to do a show like this. Don't forget, there's still a couple minutes. If you join the Patreon thing tonight, you can actually get in. You can still get in the psychic reading with Holly McCulloch. That is patreon.com/scarefestradio. And of course, it's not just for this event. It's a monthly thing, and we throw just as much content as we can come up with time. A little light on February because the blizzard kind of threw off my schedule a little bit, but we had 3 after parties. We had the Booth Brothers, we had Ellen Udy, and now this. So it's not a bad trick. Everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. Cece, thank you. Sorry I ain't going to see you for the couple weeks now because she gets to go on vacation because she's had her shots. But
yes, vaccinated. See you guys later. Had a fun time. See you at Scarefest.
Night, everybody.